Good job. Oops. Uja, Ubin Nefer, good rising and great awakenings. Ubin Nefer. I'm going to go ahead and start with the lighting of the candles. Uja, Ubin Nefer. So I just lit the candle and the offering of the incense and water and the fruit. And now we'll begin. Greetings, my name is Arit, aka Tachia Amet, and today's presentation is Cosmic Adorations, the Sacred Hoop, and I believe it was the 18th and the 19th. I'm just now getting around to it today, when the moon was inside of the sacred hoop. The new moon was within the sacred hoop, and the sacred hoop is a formation of constellations that I learned about from the Lakota Nation and their star wisdom. It consists of Gemini, the Great Dog, or Sirius, the Eye of the Great Dog, and Orion, and the three stars in Orion's belt point to Sirius. So it's a beautiful formation in the sky. And last year, it came to me that instead of trying to keep up with the Egyptian holy days, it would be more in alignment with my nature, my galactic nature, to make these offerings in alignment with the galaxy. So when the planets or the sun are inside the sacred hoop, we have cosmic adorations. And then when planets or the sun are inside of the 13th constellation of Ophiuchus, which is at the center of the galaxy, then we have like a discussion on wellness, because Ophiuchus represents the master healer. So today, and then last month, someone suggested I do cosmic adorations during the divine holy day according to the Sirius sidereal calendar. So we just had that a few days ago. Now we're having cosmic adorations for goddess Sesheta, symbolized by the new moon and the quarter moons. And then Jehuti represents the full moon. Okay, so that's the introduction. And this is a presentation from Asmataji Temple of Divine Light Healing and Sweet Sounds and Light Being Wellness. You can find out more at lightbeingwellness.com. All right, so we're going to start with opening the way with adorations for Anpu, who represents our discernment, the ability to know the difference between real and unreal. And Anpu is also represented in the constellation, the great dog, and Sirius is the eye of the dog. And Sirius is connected to Goddess Aset. Gemini is connected to Jehuti, and Orion with Asar. So we're going to start with Anpu. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Remove obstacles of my success in my spiritual practice. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Lead souls through the narrow pathways to know the difference between real and unreal. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Rush between heaven and hell. Days black as night, golden as a day. You could watch the fire, night is my day. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. May Anpu make my ties burn, so that I may stand upon them. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. I wash myself in the waters where Anpu washed himself, where he was the officer of embalmer and bandager. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. My lips are the lips of Anpu. 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 Yes, Anpu is the opener of the way, and when it says lead souls to the narrow pathways, there's many images of Anpu leading the aspirant to the hall of Ma'ati, where the heart will be weighed. And Anpu is also associated with Aleba, who's at the crossroads. Now we're going to have the 4 great truths. I'm going to read the translation. The Netter, the Supreme Being, is one and alone and is never manifesting everywhere and in all things in the form of gods and goddesses. Number 2, lack of righteousness brings fetters to the personality, and these fetters cause ignorance of the divine. Number 3, devotion to the divine leads to freedom from the fetters of Set. Number 4, the practice of the Sesheta disciplines leads to knowing oneself as a divine. This is called being true of speech. Get this in the camera. Oh wait, where is it? Oh, can't see it. Okay. Thank you for the hearts. Politaru, do never shed and better do. All the odds we sell you say come in. Say what you say, not blue inside you say. Alicia, wake up in my bedroom. Politaru, do never shed and better do. All the odds we sell you say come in. Say what you say, not blue inside you say. Alicia, wake up in my bedroom. Politaru, do never shed and better do. On the odds we On the art, sweet sound, you said, say, amen. Say what you say, I'm blue, so you say. But he say, you're coming, my dear. Check. Yes, Dua Nitra is in the temple space. Nitra, the creator. All right. Now we have the offering that is recited at Asmataji Temple before reading sacred teachings from Perchamaru or other sacred texts. And this is an offering to Nebuchadnezzar, Kepera, and Asar. Nebuchadnezzar, just chanted about and read about, is the omnipresent, all-encompassing being who is all, who created all, who thought all, who manifested all, and manifested Kepra, the creator of the gods and goddesses, the cosmic forces of nature, who then went on and created everything in creation. And Nebuchadnezzar came forth in a human form as Asar, who represents the universal soul. So this pretty much covers everything. Om Nebuchadnezzar, Kepra Sorrow. 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 The sorrow. The joy. Can't put out sorrow. Now we're going to move on to the Neteru connected to the deities of the sacred hoop. As I mentioned before, that is Set, symbolized by the star Sirius, which is the eye of the great dog. Oh, Dua. You can find a recording of that song on your favorite music. Oh, that was Anpu. This one will be on the next album. Sorry. The great dog, represented by Anpu, and Aset is the eye of the great dog, the star Sirius. So we're going to have the speech of Goddess Aset. Here's the translation. These words are spoken by Goddess Aset. I come to you in a role as your protector. I blow from me to you the liberating and rejuvenating air from the north, with fullness of consciousness, which cleanses your nose, to the nostrils for your body. This air comes in the form of the god Temu, who is in the north, which is the spirit essence of Ra, the source and sustenance of all life, and the successful completion of the spiritual journey. I have collected the pieces of your throat for you so that you can breathe and live. I pieced your throat back together and cleared obstructions to the air from Temu that conveys the vital life force. So now you have the capacity to experience unobstructed vitality. Now you do not have internal obstructions to existing as a conscious living being. I have given to you the capacity to exist in the form of a God, and in your presence, I present to you your enemies, which have fallen under your feet. So now you do not have external obstructions to existing in your divine form. By doing these things, I, the goddess of intuitional wisdom, the embodiment of wisdom, have caused for you to have a divine state in heaven, over which you have power and dominion, and all the gods and goddesses behold you. Attempt. The albums, the songs that have not yet been released on your favorite music platform, you can find some of them on bandcamps.com/Sesheta. There's the versions that I recorded, for myself and for the community, but I haven't gone like into the studio and recorded them. So you can find some of these songs there, like this next one, Speech of Aset. You can find that one there. And this translation is by Dr. Wada Ashby, Say by Ma, and you can find the translation in his book, Aset and Ra, The Myth of Aset and Ra. Meditating asked, I am Sake, Ulenake Nafu, Rebecca Nakitu, Ishareya Fuke, Bartem Temu, Zekinanke, Hatia Fuke, Lady Ena Inke in the chair, after you can care to dedicate, Temakeru, Keiamutsu, Maneteru, Merute and asked, I am Sake, Umenake Nahu, Rebecca Nakitu, Inshareya Fuke, Bartem Temu, Zekinanke, Haiti Fuke, Eni Ena Inke in the chair, after you can care, get to dedicate, Temakeru, Keiamutsu, Maneteru, Maneteru, Maneteru. our asset. A beautiful offering for our protection, clearing away obstructions, opening the way. I think I'm going to offer another chant for our set. Yeah. This one is called Made in the Shade. Good rising, Ubin for great eternity. Made in the Shade, and it's another offering from the teachings of Goddess Aset. She left instructions for us on a way to attain enlightenment based on her own experience when before she was a goddess. She was still just a lady, and she came up with a strategy to become enlightened and become a goddess. And she made a sacred serpent called a Tapi Shepsi from the dew from the sun and dirt on the ground, and she laid it in his path. Every day he walks through his creation and looks at everything. And so there was this mysterious serpent there that bit him. And since he didn't create it, he didn't have the antidote. And so he was dying. He was like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have a fever. I got chills and I'm shaking. I'm dying. And the gods and goddesses, the other gods and goddesses didn't know what to do for him. And so Aset comes by and said, oh, you got COVID? Oh, that's too bad. And she says, oh, but I have the cure, but you have to tell me your name so that I can know your essence and become one with the divine and become a goddess myself. So it's actually a hilarious story. One of these days I'll make a recording of it too. But anyway, the steps are, here's the translation: relentless pursuit of enlightenment, never giving up. Number 2, patience, endurance, even while sleeping safely. Majid, insisting with confidence and patience, perseverance, standing up and staying stood up regardless. Kak'ab, let it go, letting it go, dispassionate detachment, letting go of worldliness, letting go of attachment to materialism, letting go of attachment to consumerism, letting go of attachment to Western imperialism, letting go of caucasity. Jedinah Renanike, tell me your name. What is the essence of Ra, of creation? And then Uhau is trust and surrender. And I really needed to offer this one because I need to remember to that I haven't made in the shade as long as I stay close to the goddess. I'm all right. And that applies to all of us. I'm going to play the sister, which is a tool to eliminate chaos, ignorance, and unrighteousness. I take the God in Arkan in Sefu in Martin. I take the God in Arkan in Sefu in Martin. Let it go, letting go, let it go, cat. Let it go, letting go, let it go, cat. Let it go, letting go, let it go, cat. Let it go, letting go, let it go, cat. Let it all in our case. 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 Ooh, how, ooh, how. how, ooh, how, ooh, how. One more time. I'll take the God and I can and say food and watching. I'll take the God and I can and say food and watching. Let it go, let it go, let it go, yeah. Let it go, let it go, let it go, yeah. Let it go, let it go, let it go, yeah. Let it go, let it go, let it go, yeah. And I can. And I can. And I can. And I can. Ooh, how, 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 ooh, how. Yes. Relentless pursuit of the enlightenment, never ending, never giving up, unending patience, endurance, even while sleeping. Insisting with confidence and patience, persevering, standing up and staying stood up, regardless, no matter how it looks to the world. Letting it go, letting go of detachment. Let it go. Detachment, dispassionate detachment. Letting go of the world. Ra, tell us your name. Tell us your divine name. What is the essence? Let me become one with you. Trust and surrender the divine in the processes. Turn away from egoism. Uh-oh. I hear that weird sound on my computer, which means I might sound like a robot on YouTube today. I sure wish I knew what was doing that. Okay, we're just going to keep moving right along. Next we go to Orion, Asar. Asar, the universal soul. Thank you, Dua. I'm pretty sure that song is at bandcamp.com/Tachia. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love and the likes and the hearts and for your presence, both live and in the replay. All right, so this Hekau comes from the Tefnet Simakau Comedic Yoga Posture System and the Aku Seneb Reflective Meditation Movement System. And it comes from the mummy pose posture, where it's the ending of the series. And the reflection is about Asar, how he comes to earth and spreads civilization, spirituality, and consciousness to the world. He endured the experience of suffering. He engendered a child, Heru, who redeemed him from the fate worse than death. And now that he has ascended, he leads the way for those who who tread the way of life and death. The journey of the soul leads to Asar, leads to me. So be raised, be joyous, and be enlightened in peace for eternity. So this offering is for that last line, be enlightened in peace for eternity. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Unshin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Onkin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Unshin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Onkin. Lucas on, Lucas on, Lucas on, Lucas on. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Unshin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Onkin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Onkin. He is in the tap, he is in the tap, he is in the tap, Unshin. Lucas on, Lucas on, Lucas on, Lucas on. Lucasar, may you be enlightened in peace for eternity in all realms, in all dimensions, in all times, in all spaces. May we remember who we are in every moment. Look a few more comments. Oh, well, Dua for being here. Oh, it's New Leaf. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, it's a great way to start the day. Okie dokie. Got one more offering, and then we'll finally get to the deity of the day, Sesheta. This is an offering for Jehuti, the cosmic force of of the intellect, divine intellect, the cosmic mind. Sacred John teaches us that we have three minds. We have the mind that lives in our brain, our limited mind. Oh, Ucha, do it for tuning in. Our limited mind that deals with our everyday life and our body, how our body operates. And it's actually where our ego resides. Our egoism resides in our mind. And that's why it's a constant battle to listen to our ego or listen to our higher self. To listen to our chattering mind that's telling us we can't do this or we don't need to do that, or all the judgment and negative. That's our limited mind that lives in our brain. And then we have our infinite mind, the one that, I guess it's our Haru mind, our infinite potential mind, the one that we need to turn away from our ego mind. And then our infinite mind is filled with the cosmic mind of Jehuti. The cosmic mind of Jehuti is the cosmic mind of creation. It's the mind of Nebuchadnezzar. And then we each have this infinite mind that is filled with the cosmic mind. And we want this cosmic mind that's filling our infinite mind to flood out our limited mind. And so that our limited mind is filled with the cosmic mind of Jehuti. Translation. So this is the constellation Gemini, the twins, the divine lovers. In the Olmec tradition, the Mayan tradition, the Gemini constellation represents the sacred basketball league, sacred rubber ball game, where we get the basketball game from. So I'm starting up my research project again. I haven't actually started it up. I'm just talking about it, where I'm going to get back into my Olmec studies the cultures of Chiamaru with pyramid cultures, like in Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, Mexico, and up here in Turtle Island, the Cahokia Mounds, and see the connection with the Kemetic culture in Alkebulan. Because I sincerely believe, I trust, and I know that it's one culture in many locations. So, all right, so here's the translation, and my lights are going out, but fortunately the sun is out now. And this is another translation by Dr. Wada Ashby. This one is taken from the book Temple of the Soul and from the Temple of Asar and Abydos. It's one of my favorites. This one will definitely be on the Ma'at album. I am Jehuti. Ma'at has effectiveness and expresses through me. Daily I express beauty and goodness without fail. Perennially I experience well-being and positive feeling. Oh wait, that's not the right. Yes, I am the cosmic mind, and I feel the infinite mind when you allow me to. And this, I am able to feel your limited mind. do a Sevama, do a Sefech, or presenting the teachings in such a way that makes it easy for me to put them to music, which is my purpose. Dua. Yeah, one of my ambitions, I'm going to call it that, is to put all the chapters of the Purdah Maru and Sevama's collection to music. I have so many of them on my cell phone. I just haven't brought them out yet. But that's one of my ambitions. So I think we are at the magical moment of the deity of the day. The deity that is visiting the sacred hoop today. The sacred hoop is a collection of constellations that I learned about from the Lakota Nation. And it consists of Gemini, the Great Dog, and Orion. And here at Asmataji Temple, that would be Jehuti, Anpu, and Sirius, which is the eye of the dog, and Asar. So now we're going to have some offerings and wisdom for the goddess Sesheta. So before I get into some of the writings and wisdom I have here in my notebook, I just wanted to share how I first found out about Goddess Sesheta. I was at a conference, one of Sevama Sefech's winter solstice conferences. I think now they have them at the summer solstice, and their website is EgyptianYoga.com. And he was going through some of the goddesses in the goddess book. And he came to the goddess Sesheta, and I had never heard of her. I was still relatively new to the to Kemetic wisdom. And when he described her, I literally jumped out of my skin. Literally, I was like, what? Because when I get to her description, it completely describes me and my lifestyle, everything about the way that I'm here. The way I'm here. And so after that, I just started to reorganize my devotional practice at home, my personal practice. And so I put the goddess Sesheta in charge of, like my accounting and filing and records and my marketing and promotional campaign, like anything dealing with that. And the book that I'm writing is dedicated to her. And I'm just very grateful to have this connection with Goddess Sesheta. Another thing about Sesheta, here's a papyrus flower, which is where the papyrus scrolls were made from. So she wears, they say she wears a papyrus on her head. There's some people who believe that she's wearing a cannabis leaf on her head. So she's also associated with the cannabis plant. And she is the goddess of the Sefech Bara, the chakras. So I don't know if you can see. I don't think you can see. I have on my chakra yoga pants. Chakra yoga pants there. It's the goddess Sesheta. And I'm also, usually I wear white. I'm wearing this, some say a jaguar skin or panther skin. But she is also always seen wearing one of these. And this garment or skin or cloth is associated with priests and priestesses. The Hemu are usually wearing these, or they'll just have a sash. And then also in the cultures of Amaru, the Olmec and the Mayan cultures, they also are usually wearing this type of skin. or cloth. We don't wear the skin anymore. Oh, thank you for listening and for being here. Thank you so much, Dua. Right, so now I'm going to have some readings from around the web that I've collected. I don't have to look these up online because I have a special Sesheta collection. She means so much to me. Okay. Okay, so this is what I call my Sesheta communications vow whenever I'm getting ready to share something with the web, the community. I make an offering to Sesheta. I radiate love and light that comes forth from me, that originates at the supremely divine source of all that is and all that is not yet. I receive divine inspiration and intuition from the goddesses, and I am the scribe, Nipushesheta. I receive the teachings. I live them. I understand them. Before I share them. I should put this to music. I reflect the light of truth. I write what I reflect, and then I share what I write. Those are just some of the reflections that I have. The word sa, it means to know and to understand and to feel. It doesn't mean just to know something intellectually or read something and then, write it back, or, it means to feel it. So that's the term sa'a. All right, so here I can lift this up. This is the reading, the reference I was talking to from Seba Ma's Goddess book. So here's an image of her. Some say that's a papyrus, some say it's the star, and some say it's a cannabis leaf. So she's also known as Sefket Abut, Shesheta, Sheshat, Seshet. And the word Seshesh is to write or scribe. The goddess Sheshet is the female counterpart of Jehuti and an aspect of Ma'at and Aset. She is the goddess of learning, construction, and letters. She is associated with Renenet. Sesheta means the goddess of the seven. Thus she presides over the teachings which relate to the seven realms of creation. In this way she is related to the seven Heterus, who are supported by the divine bull of Amit, Asar. She wears a panther skin garment, symbolizing that she has conquered the lower nature. That's from the Goddess book by Dr. Marta Ashby. So right here. This is from Crystal Links. In art, she was depicted as a woman with a stylized papyrus plant above her head, symbolizing writing, since the Egyptians wrote on a material derived from papyrus. The plant, her symbol, was shown having 6 spurs from the tip of the central stem, making it resemble a 7-pointed star. After the association with Jehuti, who originally had been a moon god, the stylized papyrus was shown surmounted by a crescent moon, which over time degenerated into being shown as 2 horns arranged to form a crescent shape between them. When the crescent symbol had degenerated into the horns, she was sometimes known as Sefket Abui. There's lots of ways of spelling these words, of course. Oh, greetings, YouTube. Could you let me know, do I sound like a robot? I've seen people come in and out, and I want to know if it's because I hear this weird sound coming from my computer or something else. If you could just type in, I sound like a robot. Usually she is also shown holding a palm stem, carrying notches to denote the recording of the passage of time. She is frequently dressed in a leopard skin. See, sometimes it's panther, sometimes it's leopard, sometimes it's jaguar, a symbol of funerary priests. Because the pattern of the skin represents the stars, both a symbol of eternity and associated with the moon. From the 2nd dynasty onward, she helped ritualize the laying of the foundation of temples and the ceremony known as the stretching of the cord, referring to the mason's line used to measure out the limits of the building. You know, all the times I've read this, I never made the connection with the masons. So I wonder, I mean, I am not a fan of the masons. I've heard you hear me loud and clear. Oh, Dua. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm going to make a note because the Masons and other satanic organizations literally just copied this information from Kemet and they ran with it. Oh, Dua, new leaf. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Your presence is a gift to me. Otherwise, I'd just be here talking with myself. I could do that, but it's more fun. I could, like some people say, why don't you just record videos? Because it's really fun to interact with the people who manage to find me and, you know, build a community. So I really appreciate you all. Stretching the cord. Masons. I'm going to have to look into that. Used to measure out the limits of the building. She was known as the mistress of the House of Architects. She was a personal guide of the king, aiding and assisting him. She was said to record all of his proceedings and accomplishments. As a divine measurer and scribe, she was believed to appear to assist the pharaoh in both these practices. It was she who recorded by notching her palm the time allotted to him by the gods for his stay on earth. And during the New Kingdom, she was involved in the Pharaoh's Jubilee Festival, the Sed Festival. She also assisted the Pharaoh in the stretching the cord ritual, as well as recording the speeches the Pharaoh made during crowning and the inventory of foreign captives and goods gained in military campaigns. When I first read that, that's when I got the idea to put her in charge of my marketing campaigns and my, you know, like putting on events or sending out emails or whatever it is before I do any of that. Because I see this as a spiritual battle, and marketing and online things. These are, to me, these are tools of spiritual warfare. It's bringing healing to people who are open to this, and wisdom and music, putting the teachings to music. It's one thing to read the teachings, it's one thing to read the teachings. And for myself, when I sing the teachings, it impacts me in a different way. The vibrations are stronger inside of me, and it enables me to change my mind faster. I don't know if that makes any sense, because the heart is also made of brain cells, and the womb and the intestines are also made of brain cells. So, you know, they say trust your gut. Well, that's trusting the brain, you know, of that part of your body, like letting go of waste, toxins, things like that. And the womb, the uterus, is the seat of our creativity. So we trust it's a seat of our intuition. So it became really apparent to me that Sesheta is the goddess of my whole, like my business. She's a huge aspect of my business. Okay, so I have down here futures gained in marketing campaigns, clients, sales, office manager, bookkeeper, filing, accountant, bill payment, records, deeds, trusts, and time reckoning. I'm reading all my notes here. I don't know how long this is going to take, but it's really important. I don't even know if I have a web page for Sesheta yet. Okay, let's see. The pyramid text reference Seshet as the female scribe, the lady of the house. Nebuchadnezzar is also referred to in the pyramid text as Seshet, foremost of builders. Some call Seshet the Egyptian goddess of the dead, daughters of Geb and Nut, sister of Aset. So they're referring to her as Nebuchadnezzar, Asar, and Set. According to one tradition, she was also mother of Anpu. So there's a connection between Seshet and Nebuchadnezzar. Her principal sanctuary was at Heliopolis. Along with Aset, she was one of the guardians of the corpse of Asar. Depicted in human form, wearing a crown in the form of the hieroglyph or house, sometimes depicted. Now, this is mostly about Nebuchadnezzar. No temple has ever been found in her name. But in a temple constructed during Hatshepsut's reign, Queen Hatshepsut is shown directing Jehuti to speak to Sesheta to get the answers to his questions. On the slab stela of Prince Web M. Neferet from the 4th dynasty, he is mentioned as overseer of the royal scribes, priest of Seshet. Supposedly at a later time, the priesthood of Jehuti took over the priesthood of Sesheta. This is another crystal links. Sesheta was the essence of cosmic intuition, creating the geometry of the heavens alongside Jehuti, sacred geometry. In Egyptian mythology, she was originally the deification of the concept of wisdom, and so became a goddess of writing, astronomy, astrology, architecture, and mathematics. As reality is based on duality, one could consider Sesheta the feminine aspect of Jehuti. The Egyptians believed that she invented writing, while Jehuti taught writing to mankind. So she's the one who came up with the Medu-Neter, and then she shared it with him. She was known as Mistress of the House of Books, indicating that she also took care of Jehuti's library of spells and scrolls. She is the patron of libraries and all forms of writing, including census and accounting work. Sesheta was the only female that has been found so far actually writing. Other women have been found holding a scribe's writing brush and palette, showing that they could read and write, but these women were never shown in the act of writing herself. As goddess of writing, she was seen as a scribe and record keeper, and her name herself means she who scribes. She was a scribe. Sesheta means female scribe. Shesh means scribe. Okay, Shesh means scribe, and even though this is called a sistrum, this is Seshesh. I get them mixed up. So Shesh means scribe, and Seshesh is a sistrum. Okay. She was an architect, building by the measurements of sacred geometry. She wears a leopard skin. She has a star over her head, crescent moon, star, papyrus, cannabis. It's also heard hieroglyph. When they changed the crescent moon into horns, her name became Sefech Abui. And she who wears the 2 horns relates to the horns that appear above her head, etc., etc. She is a female counterpart of Jehuti, who wrote the story of humanity's journey through time. She's a magician. She bears the title of Egyptian fairy godmother. Her magic wand with her 7-pointed star is a symbol which represented the source of all creative ideas and consciousness. Her powers of cause and effect for any affectation were legendary before the founding of Kemet. And I have this last one. This is my favorite one, or one of my favorites. Sesheta, the great lady of the House of Books, also known as Sefket Abui, the silicon goddess, the glass cat, Our Lady of Mathematics. Among the inner sphere superintelligences, there exists an archetypical attractor, Sesheta, providing a shared interface to singularity, mathematical, and notational understanding. Okay. This is also from Crystal Links. Okay. So that is the really powerful one. This time when I was reading it, even though I've read this a million times, what came to me, I don't have a picture of it, but there is a glyph of an Olmec, who they say Mayan, but Olmec, sitting at a device that looks like a laptop computer with a screen and the keyboards. And I've read this hundreds of times, and the interface to trend singularity, mathematical, and notational understanding. Attempt. All right, now it's time for some Sesheta music. Okay, no, I've got one more reading. Sorry. This one is from the Pert and Haru, and it's got an image of the tree of life. See the tree of life? And it's different from the tree in the that other book, because the Pert and Haru is the Bible of Naturians, not, and the other one I'm talking about is the Bible of enslavement. So I'm just going to read from chapter 19 of the Pert and Haru. The chapter of the tree of life, breathing air and possessing water in the Duat. So, like when your body dies and you go to the netherworld, you'll still have access to water and breathing air. So you won't just be like, dead or comatose. You'll be in eternity. And there's food there and water and air. It's just a different frequency. But if you're not aware of this before your body dies, then you'll think you're going to, heaven or hell or something. Because that's here on earth. Heaven is within us. Okay. So the image shown is description of the image. A vignette for chapter 19. Oh, we just had June 19th. The tree of life, and I was supposed to do this yesterday. The tree of life is the symbol of the goddess. Through it, she nourishes all life, and in particular, she provides spiritual strength to the aspirant for success in the spiritual journey. Words to be spoken by a sar, and when I pause or hold my hand, that's what you put in your name. So this is a reading for you, about you. I'll say my name. Words to be spoken by a sar or beat, Makaru. And remember, Makaru means true of speech and spiritually victorious. So this is a reading for you. Hail to you, great river in the heavens. That's the Milky Way, the tree of life is the Milky Way. In thy name of transverser of the heavens, grant thee power over the water to Asar, Arit, Makaru, like Sekhmet, who protected Asar against the violence on the night and day of slayings. Lead Asar, Arit, Makaru, to the abode where there is an abundance of water, just as you led those other honorable persons who were slain and became noble, blessed souls, knowing not they the name of he who led him. Asar, Arit, Makaru is opening up in Jed. Asar, Arit, Makaru's nostrils are opening up in Jedu, in Hetep, the dwelling place in Anu, the house that was constructed by Sesheta, on which Khnum is standing. So they're referring to the temple of Asar. When you go there, Sesheta is all over the first hall. Just like every, Sesheta. If there is a north wind blowing, sit on the south side. If there is a south wind blowing, sit on the north side. If there is a west wind blowing, sit on the east side. If there is an east wind blowing, sit on the west side. Lowering the eyebrows on the nostrils, Asar, Arit, Makaru enters into all places desired and resides therein. All right, I'm going to read the gloss too. Go. The translation for this chapter is based primarily on the papyrus of Ankh and the papyrus of Ea, and is commonly referred to as number 57. It is included here as representative of the genre of teachings found in similar chapters, specifically chapter 58, breathing air and possessing water in the netherworld, Duat, chapter 59, drinking water in the netherworld, chapter 60, another chapter for the same purpose, chapter 61, another chapter for the same purpose, chapter 62, another chapter for the same purpose. Chapter 63, drinking water and not drying up by fire. So it's very important to know how to drink water and breathe air in the netherworld. Referring to the celestial Nile, so that was the chapter. comment, it's blurry here, 301. Referring to the celestial Nile. So the tree of life is the celestial Nile, which is the Milky Way galaxy. According to the Quechua, the Milky Way was a great river. It had a cross with their major road in town, symbolizing where the Milky Way crossed the ecliptic. The Milky Way is the reason why this cosmic adorations is being offered, because the sacred hoop is at the end of the arm of the Milky Way galaxy, and Ophiuchus is at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So the great river in the sky, the tree of life, is very important at Asamachi Temple. Everything on earth is a reflection of what is above. Like I said, the way the Quechua have the Milky Way and the ecliptic cross, the Mayas, all their culture, so cosmology is based on the movements. They observed how the Milky Way moves, how it crosses with the ecliptic, and then how it moves away and comes back. It's all based on the great river in the sky. You can feel my passion coming out of the galactic girl. The Great Pyramid complexes in Giza has its counterpart in Orion and the star Sirius. Orion, Sirius, a great dog, Asar, and Aset, and Ampu. And the gnomes also have their counterparts in the star systems above. Sekhmet is the lioness form of the goddess, especially associated with Heteru. She is the wife of the god Ptah, destroyer of demons and unrighteous personalities, purifier of hearts, and consequently protector of righteous souls. She's the power of the life force energy. She's considered the greatest goddess of all because she was able to reclaim her divinity after she forgot her identity and got all caught up in egoism. So these are all guides for us. They all went through these same trials and tribulations that we're going through. And their stories are to tell us that if they can do it, we can do it, because we're gods and goddesses too, right? Jedu is the pillar of Asar. Metaphysically, the upper cycle spiritual consciousness centers are symbolized by the Sesheta, the sistrum. Spiritual conscious centers, the Sefech, Bara, the Ritus, the chakras, which awaken when a person becomes enlightened. Anu is the city of the jet pillar of Asar. Hetep is supreme peace, the end of duality. And here's the one on Sesheta. Goddess of writing and counterpart of Judy. It's similar to what I read earlier. She is also the presiding deity of the 7 cycle spiritual consciousness centers. Spiritual enlightenment of the serpent power, also known as Kundalini energy, Sekhem, which is where the name Sekhmet comes from. She was also associated with the sacred Persia tree on which the names of the kings were written at the time of coronation. She was the recorder of deeds, mistress of books, recorder of time. I also call on her for like time issues when I'm like running late or, running out of time, and stretch out the time a little bit. The Persia tree was associated with the goddess in the feline form who resided in the city of Anu, Heliopolis of the Greeks, and slew the demon serpent Apep, that's Bast or Bastet, who is also considered a goddess of cannabis, who was the enemy of Ra. Apep was the enemy of Ra and of all souls. And then we have Khnum, the god who created human beings on his potter's wheel, the fashioner of men and women. Also, this word means union. Khnum's temple is located in Aswan, where the Nubians still preside. I would call it like the south side of Chicago, unfortunately. And it's a temple that is pretty much ignored. It hasn't been renovated like the other one, restored like the other ones. And the first time I went to Kemet, I had the amazing fortune of being able to release my parents' ashes right as we were passing by Elephantine Island. The time I didn't know the significance. So when I went back on my own, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to do something about this place. So I have this spiritual ambition to someday like start a recycling center there, because there was so much plastic bottles in the Nile, plastic bottles, and somehow help coordinate the restoration or contribute to the restoration of that temple. or canoe. And last but not least, lowering the eyebrows on the nostrils. This is a classic description used in yoga meditation practice to instruct the aspirant to practice concentration. All right, so those are the wisdom teachings for Sesheta, and I just have 3 songs for her. We'll start with the first one. We'll play it on the heart very often. Yeah, this will work. I was saying Jehuti and Sesheta and one at one time. I saw them as one. So this one is in honor of the moon, Sesheta, being in the constellation of Gemini, which is Jehuti. Jehuti, 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 Dua, 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 Jehuti, Dua, 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 Jehuti, Dua Sesheta, Dua Sesheta, Dua Sesheta. Sesheta, Dua, 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 Sesheta, Dua, 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 Sesheta, Jehuti, 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 Napu, 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 Jehuti. Napu, 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 Jehuti, Napu Sesheta, Napu Sesheta, Napu Sesheta, Napu Sesheta, Napu, 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 Sesheta, Napu, 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 Sesheta. Now let's put them together. Jehuti, Jehuti, Dua Sesheta, Dua Sesheta, Napu, 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 Jehuti, Napu, 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 Sesheta. All right, so that was in honor of Sesheta coming to visit Jehuti with the moon inside of the sacred hoop near the constellation Gemini, which is ruled by Jehuti. So you can just visualize the crescent moon sitting in the sacred hoop. I would have done it at night, but since we're in the time of the new moon, we wouldn't really be able to see it because it's still rising with the sun. So, but when the moon is like a crescent or a full moon or a half moon, we'll definitely do it when it's dark so we can go out and look. It's so magical to make these offerings inside the sacred room. You just don't know what it means to me. It's just like, I just get so emotional. Okay. This one is a lovely song. Ooh, I need the lyrics though. I mean, I know them, but sometimes I get excited and get ahead of myself and do that. So. This song is based on chapter 19 because it has Sesheta and the goddess Nut. It's kind of the same melody. Oh, that's nice because they're the same. It sings, okay? I can do it like this. Sesheta. No, that's not the right rhythm. I better keep it simple. I'll just keep it simple. But now I know I can play them together because they're the same melody on the harp. I usually play this one on the keyboard. I don't know it that well on the harp yet. I went into the studio with my band. We had a bass, and it was upright bass, and guitar and percussion and keyboards. And something happened with the actual physical recording of the music, so I have to go back in. It was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay. This will be beautiful too. Let's slow it down a little bit. Here we go. Sesheta. Oh, I remember it now. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, now I got it. Nah, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna keep it simple. Sorry about that. I'm just a songwriter. I am the goddess of math and sciences. I am the cosmic scribe. Keep things in celestial order. I can help you keep order in your life. I wear the sacred papyrus on my head. I built the house of a song. To Jehuti I gave the Manu nectar. I am the goddess of the Sefech Bara. Sesheta. I am the source of sacred darkness. I am the jeweled night sky. I'm in love with your Father Earth. I gave birth to the light. The stars make up my body. I nurse you with the Milky Way. I am the tree of life. I watched you come forth by day. Sesheta. Do a Sesheta, do a newt. A tap. Oh, Dua. Thank you so much. Yes, the birds are singing along with me today. All right, now we have the third chant from the chapter 19 of the Pert Himmeru. And this one is kind of like a procession. When you go to Kemet and you go to the temple of Heteru and Dendera, and you're going up the stairs to the special chamber. There's like a place to perform music on the roof. I got to go stand in there. I didn't have my instruments with me the last time. The next time I go, I'm spending the whole day there, and I'm doing everything that I have wanted to do there since 2011. Because Dendera is the one where it's all the astronomical information. Anyway, when you're going up the stairs, on both sides of the stairs, there's the gods and goddesses. They have them going up the stairs on one side and have them coming down the stairs on the other side with their offerings and instruments. Anyway, so this is kind of like that. It's a procession. Procession is astronomical. A procession of the gods and goddesses in chapter 19. And towards the end there, I started like getting animated and activated. And I could visually, actually physically or spiritually feel them coming into this space. It was awesome. Woo! Got chills. Okay. Let's see what is next. So that was our special section of the Neteru of the day that is visiting the sacred hoop. Oh, one of these days I will organize a trip so people can come with me. I need more Ma'at and Sesheta order and organization in my life. I'm open to receive. All right, so I'm going to do, that one was kind of like a processionals. I don't need to do the pouching at the root. However, I would like to offer this one for well-being. So many. Oh, did I do protection? I don't think this one yeah, I did a set one. Okay. Because I could go on and on. This one's important. This is another Aset. This is Aset and Ma'at. And the name of the temple is Astamataji. So, you know, that's kind of part of it. So I'm going to read the translation first. This is a song based on the wisdom teachings of sage Amenemope, Amenhotep. That's two ways of pronouncing it. Was more than one way of pronouncing it. Amenhotep or Amenemope. Presented by Seba Ma, and then with highlights by Seba Ja. And it's asking for well-being and strength. So asking for you to give me well-being and strength and vitality. Ban. It's kind of a play on words. ban. It means actions against Ma'at. So I'm saying ban all actions against Ma'at. We don't want any actions against Ma'at. They're banned. And then Karau Set is Set's tempest. Set is the nature of egoism. And so whenever we're crying or sad about something, I call them crocodile tears, because if we're sad about something, then we're out of alignment with what is. I mean, we can be sad, emotional sad, but if we hold on to the sadness, I mean, like if something happens, we can be sad, in that moment of grieving. But if we're still like really grieving and sad years later with no progress, I mean, it has to be, happens less often and it lasts less, like less in degrees and less over time. So if we're like, crying over something that happened to us, like let's say your car was totaled and, 5 years later, you're still like really like, and you're crying about it or whatever, that's crocodile tears, because your car crashed, you have to get a new car. That's the way it is. And then Karawa Set is Set's tempest, like anger, fury. The Sheni mesh are the crocodile tears. Getting ahead of myself. And then Aset is the storm calmer and the crocodile tamer. And I'm just going to leave it at that part. I don't know that second part very well yet. Erdine, Ujasine, Erdine, Ujasine, Ahe, Datenu, Ahe, Datenu, Erdine, Ujasine, Erdine, Ujasine. Ban all acts against my art. Ban all acts against my art. Ban actions against my art. Ban actions against my art. Could I have said to blessed? Could I have said to sheds crocodile tears. Set sheds crocodile tears. The shanty mesh, the shanty mesh, the shanty mesh, the shanty mesh. Jua said the storm calmer. Jua said crocodile tamer. Nurka said the storm calmer. Nurka said crocodile tamer. Ban on Mars. Ban on Mars. On Mars. On Mars. I head out in you. I head out in you. Virginia, Johnson, Virginia, Johnson. Yes, ban all actions against my aunt. And Aset sheds crocodile tears. Oh gosh. Aset the storm calmer. Aset crocodile tamer. Getting rid of those crocodile tears. Learning to love what is. And still stand for my aunt at the same time. Okay, I think that is the program for today. Yep. Oh, I know what I'll close with. I will close with the goddess chant. Take a break. Okay, I'm almost done, TikTok. I'm almost done. So this is a song from the goddess book, the goddess chant. And when the first conference that I went to, it was the second one that I went to. I had already bought this book, and what chapter is it? It's the last page. What is it? Oh, the divine names of the goddess. On page 78, he has a list of all the gods and goddesses' names. And it says that, what does it say here? The ritual of uttering the names of the goddess promotes purity of speech. The purity was known as Makadu in ancient Kemet. Makadu is the primary objective of every spiritual aspirant. The names may be recited, chanted, or used in song. The art of recital, chanting, and singing the divine names supports the study of the mystical teachings given in the myths related to the various forms of the goddess. Also bestows psychic powers on the aspirant, which will allow him or her to achieve great heights of spiritual experience internally, and also to perform great works in the world of time and space of human experience. So I got to this list. I was like, how am I going to learn all these names? And then this chant came through. So let's try. Well, you know what? It was a reggae chant. So let me try it. Yeah. Now you're being gay. Not reggae. Mute may hurt, I said hectaru. But Rinnet Meshkanet, Second Abud. Never had Ahmed, Nekabed Mood. Rekat, Sekamet, Aret Basra. Sekamet Basra. Rinenet Meshkanet, Sefech Abud, David Het Amit, Dekabet Mood, Rekat Sekamet, Aret Basra, Sekamet Basra. Abet Nut Mehert, Aset Heteru, Rinenet Meshkanet, Sefech Abud, David Het Amit, Dekabet Mood, Rekat Sekamet, Aret Basra, Sekamet Basra. Abed Nut Mehert, Abed Aset Heteru, Rinenet Meshkanet, Sefech Abud, David Het Amit, Dekabet Mood, Rekat Sekamet, Aret Basra, Sekamet Basra, Sekamet Basra, Sekamet Basra, Sekamet Basra, Sekamet Basra. Yeah. Yes, I decided I had to close with the Nyabingi rhythm because she was a goddess too. She was a very powerful goddess. All right. Dua to the gods and goddesses. Dua to Netaru. Dua to all of you for tuning in, staying this whole time. And for those of you tuning into the replay. This is a very busy week here at Asmataji Temple Enlightening Wellness. See, I tried to write it all out. This presentation was supposed to be the day before. It's happening today, but still fine. The moon is still in the sacred hoop. And tomorrow, Ra, the sun, moves into the sacred hoop with Juno. And also tomorrow, I have Good Rising TV because the sun is going into Sidereal Gemini. That will be at 8:40 in the evening. And also tomorrow is the summer solstice. Summer solstice is 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. It's the time when the sun stops. You know, every day it rises in a different place, and then at the solstices it stops, rises in the same place for 3 days, and then starts moving in a different direction, opposite direction. So actually there's 3 presentations scheduled for tomorrow. I don't know if all 3 will happen tomorrow. Yeah, the Good Rising TV doesn't necessarily have to be tomorrow. So that one I will, that's how. I'll postpone that one till the 22nd. Wait, 22nd. Yeah, I think I'll postpone that one till the 22nd. So tomorrow we will have Spiral Dance Medicine will at sunrise. Although sunrise is like 5 o'clock. We're having a discussion about this. But the summer solstice is at 9:57 a.m. I believe that would be more practical than getting out to the lake at 4 a.m. to set up. So, okay, so we'll have the Spiral Dance tomorrow at around 10 a.m. Good Rising TV will be Wednesday at around 8:30 p.m., which is when the sun moves into Gemini. Yeah, this makes more sense. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how I was going to go. And then so tomorrow morning at sunrise, from the comfort of my home, we will have the sacred hoop because the sun will be rising in Gemini and we'll be having our, yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Well, thanks for helping me work that out because I was, what is it, a condenser? I was like, Okay, so that is great. All right, and I usually post a few clips from the live stream to let people know about the live stream. I haven't done the one from yesterday yet. Just keep in mind, I'm not the most super organized temple. I'm the goddess next door. That's my tagline. I used to try to be perfect like people in other temples. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just a temple musician. I'm not like, okay, I won't say that. That's a very, very important role in the temple. Okay, that's enough. Dua Hatep, Dua to the gods and goddesses, Neteru, and to all of you, your presence is a gift to me. And of course, if you really enjoy these presentations, you can always send a donation to Asmataji Temple. Divine Light Healing and Sweet Sounds. $ Amet El Ma'at. I'll post it in the replay. You can visit the temple website at lightbeingwellness.com/Astamataji-temple. How do you spell Astamataji? ASTMAATAJI. It is a combination of the goddess Aset, the goddess Ma'at, and the goddess Ma'ataji. Mataji is the sister of Babaji from the Hindu tradition, the Vedic tradition, which was one time a colony of Kemet in Ethiopia. So it's considered Kemetic at this temple. And why did I name my temple after her? Well, back in 1991, when she was almost 2. Yeah, 1991. My youngest daughter, Yubia. My younger daughter was almost 2. Her birthday ends in 0, so it's easy to keep track of the timeline by her birthday. And I had just gone on my first musical tour with a band, world music band, and none of them were health conscious, and I got dreadfully sick. Thank you. I'll post the schedule today. I got dreadfully sick. I got a lung infection. And when I got home, people close to me thought I was going to die. I had gotten pneumonia, and we don't go to the doctor. And I was taking herbs, and it had gotten so, I felt like I had a hole in the back of my chest. I thought I was going to die. I really was preparing to die. I'd already said I wasn't going to take any more breaths. I was done breathing. And my ex-husband's friend came, and he was performing last rites at the foot of my bed. And my daughters were running around in the back room because it was almost time for our winter solstice, and they wanted to, do all this stuff. And I was like getting ready to leave. And my ex-husband said, we had just gotten into the Rastafarian tradition, we had a reggae band. And he said, you've been praying to Jah. You need to pray to the mother. You need to pray to the goddess. And I was like, what? I didn't even know about the goddess or mother back then. But I did know about Babaji and Mataji because I was taking a yoga class from their organization. So I started praying to Mataji. She was the only mother goddess that I knew at the time. Wasn't that weird? Yeah. I knew about Sirius, but I didn't know about the goddess connected to Sirius. And so, you may or may not believe me, but they appeared at the foot of my bed. Babaji and Mataji appeared at the foot of my bed, and they told me to sit up. And I was like, I can't sit up because I've been bedridden for like 8 days. Hadn't gotten out of bed at all. I didn't mean to go to the bathroom. And they told me to sit up, so I sat up and said, we're going to teach you how to breathe. Now, if I could remember that technique, wow, I'm going to write a note. I want to remember the technique. And I'm going to ask them to remind me. Watch, I'm writing it down. And so they taught me to breathe. How to breathe through the pain because it hurt so much I didn't want to take another breath. And they taught me how to breathe through the pain. So I was breathing with the pain instead of avoiding it. And so I was like, said, now go into the living room and do the topsy-turvy pose. What's the topsy-turvy pose? It's from the Kriya Yoga system. It's similar to the shoulder stand or the candlestick. Only instead of propping yourself on your shoulders, you prop yourself up so that your heart chakra is more on it. Like your leg. I don't really know how to describe it. You're resting on the back of your heart chakra instead of propped up straight. It's more like an L. It's more of an L than the shoulder stand. And so I got out of bed, and my ex-husband was like, what are you doing? Like, Babaji and Mataji told me to go do the topsy-turvy pose. So he got out of the way, and I went to the living room, and I did the topsy-turvy pose, and I heard a pop, and I saw a light flash, and then all this mucus started coming out of my nose. And then I was fine, like nothing ever happened. So that is why the name of this temple is As Mataji, because I have these 3 goddesses that are helping me with the temple. They're not helping me. This is their temple, and I'm just the one that's telling you about it. Okay. So I will see you tomorrow morning after the golden hour around 6:30. Yeah, for the cosmic adorations for Ra coming into the sacred hoop. Okay. Do a hatap. Thank you so much. Do a